hopefully I can make this make sense for you. So I'm doing a property search, and I have done this search earlier today. So I'm just going to go back to recent search. These are sold comps going back 6 months, colonials in Oakland, 3 to 4 bedrooms, two and a half to four bathrooms. So I'm going to do that. It's going to pull up 16 properties. Out of these 16 properties, I have already highlighted the ones that I wanted to kind of use for this example. I have to tell you, there's no really rhyme or reason that I chose these. I just wanted to pick three for an example for you. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to pick these three properties here, and I'm going to go here in the drop down menu to CMA report, hit go, and those are going to be our sold comparables. So I also chose another property that was on the MLS. I'm just going to plug in the MLS number here so that it pulls up all the information on that particular property. I'm going to do fill from MLS, and it's going to fill in all the particulars on this property. It takes a little while to load up. However, now you see it has the property picture, it has the address on Hunter's Run, information on the garage, the heating, the taxes, whether or not it has a pool, basement features, fireplace information. All that information is here. So I'm going to create a name, and this is just going to be, let's just call it Push. Let's keep it simple. I'm going to call it Push, and I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom of the page to where it says go to adjust the comps. So then I hit save and continue, and that's going to pull up the page where we now have the comparables. So here you see Hunter's Run, then you have Lakeshore Drive, you have Manitou, and you have Butternut Court, and these are our comparables. This is what we're going to be doing. So again, Hunter's Run is our subject property. This is the property we're going to for our listing appointment. And so we need to look at the sold comps and make them comparable to our subject property. So I'm just going to do a couple of examples to show you how this works. Let's look here. This property is a 3-bedroom. This property on Lakeshore is a 3-bedroom. We have 3 full baths. This property on Lakeshore Drive has 2 full baths. So what I need to do is make this property on Lakeshore comparable to our subject property on Hunter. So I need to give it value as if it had a 3rd full bathroom. So here's what I do. I go to Jeffrey Auto, I look at bathrooms, and if the property's around 400,000, it's like at 11%. If it's at 750,000, it's like at 18,000. So 11,000 to 18,000, depending on the price point. We know that these homes are at about 590,000, somewhere in that range. So just for this illustration, I'm just going to say we're going to take this calculation, 2.8% if it's 400,000, 2.4% if it's at 750. These properties are about 600,000. So I'm just going to go right in the middle and say 2.6%. So what I want to do is I want to go back to this subject property. It was at 540,000. So let me pull up my calculator. I'm just going to do 540,000 times 2.6%. And it's telling me that's around $14,000. So as you can see, if the house is worth 400,000, the bathroom's worth 11. If it's 750,000, the bathroom is worth 18. At around 540,000, somewhere in that range, a bathroom is worth about $14,000. So I'm going to go back to my comps, and where it says full bath, I'm going to type in $14,000. The green means that I'm adding to it, okay? Then we're going to go down to, this house has a finished full basement. This house only has a full basement. So what I need to do is make the property on Lakeshore equal to Hunter's. So I need to give it credit for a finished basement. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to look at, let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Give me a second, guys. Basement, full finishing supplement. If it was at 400,000, it would be 2.3%. If it was at 750, it'd be 1.9. So I'm gonna just give it right around to like 2.1%. So again, I'm gonna go in 540,000 times 2.1% is $11,000. So what I'm going to do is go back in to the comps. I'm going to go down to here, and I'm going to add a value of $11,000. Okay, does that make sense so far? Hopefully it does. So this house has a 3-car garage. Our property has a 2-car garage. So in order to make the comp comparable to our subject property, we have to take away the value of one of the garage bays to make the properties equal. So again, I go right back to auto sheet and I look at garages, attached and built in per car. For a property at 400,000 is about 2.5. For a property at 750 is about 2.1. I'm going to go right in the middle there, and I'm going to say 540,000 times 2.3%. That's 12,420. So I'm going to go back to my comp sheet. I'm going to go to garages, and I'm going to say 12,420. Except this time, instead of giving it credit, I'm taking that away. Because it has a 3-car, I need it to have the value of a 2-car. So I do a minus here. So let's say everything else matches up, everything else is the same. Here's the deal. This property on Lakeshore was priced at $530, it's sold at $540. By making this house on Lakeshore equal to the house on Hunter, if that house on Lakeshore had sold and it was the same as the house on Hunter, it would have sold for $552,000. It got a bump in value because now it has that extra bathroom that the subject property has. Now it has a finished basement like the subject property has. Now we took away the value of the 3-car garage and we made it a 2-car garage. And with everything else being equal, square footage, age, everything else being equal, I would look down at the comp and say, this home is worth $552,000. I would then do the same exercise for the 2nd and 3rd comp, and it's going to readjust all these comps, making them all comparable to my subject property. And I do the average of these 3 and say, the average sold comp on homes like yours after making adjustments, the price is X. Here's a good thing. The exercise I just went through with you guys, going through how I did this for every property, you only have to explain that one time to your seller. Once they see how you did that for Lakeshore, then you can just say, I did the same thing for the other 2 properties and here's the value I got. So it takes some time to really get good at this and really understand it. What I did right now is I just pulled out 3 properties that sold and I came up with the subject property and ran comps. So if you really want to get good at this, you take that sheet from Auto and you find a subject property that's listed, go and find comps that are similar to that subject property and do this exercise and play around with it. Get good at looking at bedroom counts, bathroom counts. This section over here is if there are certain things that the house has and it's not showing up here. Like, for example, maybe like solar panels or a deck on the property, a finished deck. If there's anything unique about the home that you don't see here, you can add it down and make adjustments. So some of those things might be, as an example, special energy items. Double glazed windows, if it's an enclosed porch, a screen porch, a wood deck, any of those things that you don't see where you can make improvements, you can actually make those improvements down below. If it's a privacy lot, if it's in a cul-de-sac, if it's a listing that's on a busy road or there are power lines, you would take any of those special features and fill them here and say, this home doesn't have power lines, and you make the adjustment. So if your subject property has power lines and this one did not, you would make the adjustment so the comps would be actually comparable to your subject property. I hope that makes sense. I know I'm doing a lot of talking. I want you guys to watch this video and then report back to me and tell me if what I did right now makes sense. But I really just wanted you guys to understand how you go about making the comp property equal to the subject property. If this home doesn't have three bathrooms, you give it the value of a third bathroom and you add that to it. That's green. If it has something special that your subject property doesn't have, you take away and you hit the negative button and you take away. At the end of those exercises, you're going to get to a point where you get the final number. It gives you your total adjustments that you made, and that's how you come up with your comparable values for the sold comps. And that's what's going to give you a subject price for your subject property. Now, keep in mind, these are solds, and these were properties. I mean, look at this. This one sold in December. This one sold in September. This one sold in September. So yes, it's good to use these as an indicator of what the market was doing back then. However, that market has changed. We are now in the new market. There are new comps on the market. There are new active properties. And so we have to look at the active properties as well, because that's going to be our competition. Hope that makes sense. I'm not sure if it makes sense. Get back to me and let me know what you think. Alrighty, guys, have a good one. Bye.